On Friday, SNL alum Jay Pharoah appeared on The Breakfast Club where he revealed how he was let go from Saturday Night Live after trying to pursue other opportunities. In addition to that, Pharoah mentioned how speaking out has hurt him too. Pharoah explained how he was asked about SNL's need for a black woman at a time where the show received a lot of criticism for not having one in the cast. He responded, "There are definitely funny black women out there. They just have to look." That comment was turned into the headline. Jay Pharoah says SNL needs to pay attention. Today we have our company hype analysts, Vanessa Capone, and Pierre calling in to give their reactions. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
I do know that being vocal about certain political things at that show did hurt me. You know, talking about the diversity on the show and there's a need for a black woman. I said, yeah, they're out there. There are definitely funny black women out there, man. They just gotta look, basically. I saw it go from, oh yeah, you the future, to, just all right, good work. I saw it go from that.
Now, Pierre, I want to start with you and get your reaction. Are you surprised by Jay Pharoah's reveal?
Not at all. First of all, let's be honest. Saturday Night Live has always been like a white fraternity. They just happen to let a couple people in of color or different ethnic background. Barely, some women. Even though they start off with women, it's mostly a white man's, get together, telling some jokes. A lot of that stuff's geared that way. So no. But I do believe what he said. You mentioned something that sounded like you're rocking the boat, and with an established show like that. They feel like, hey, let us do it the way we want to do it. Don't you go out here talking stuff, and not letting us go on the rhythm and the pace we want. And they were slow with getting, quality black females to, be on the show. So I'm not surprised. There's certain places still hold, they want to keep their legacy of what it is. 15, white boys and 2 blacks, maybe 1 black, one, 2 females. It's what it is. Right. Yeah, welcome to the business. Mm-hmm.
Vanessa, I want to get your thoughts and reaction on it as well. Are you surprised by it any?
By what he said? No. I mean, I think when you work for any company, they kind of have that, family policy or keep stuff, in-house kind of policy, or definitely when you're speaking out to the media and stuff. And sometimes it's not what you say, but how you say it, I guess, if you will, you know what I mean? Because media can kind of flip it in a way that may make it sound, however, sometimes it's through media training or something like that. So you learn how to kind of answer a question. Because if you, as a employee or someone that works there, is this something that you've already brought up to them before? You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So to speak out about it first, kind of in the media. Yeah, I would expect, not saying I would expect, backlash from a place like that, as Pierre was describing the type of environment that it is. So I definitely understand the backlash or whatever, and how that, kind of came to be.
Right. Capone, let me let you chime in on that as well. What are your reactions to it? Were you surprised when you heard it?
No, not at all. I mean, everybody know the institution of SNL. And what he said is true. It's just a shame that they took it out of content when he was just asked a question. And they do that quite a bit. Do you think that they could have more black women on there? Sure, I think so. And I wouldn't have changed my answer. Unfortunately, the powers that be have a way of turning things around, and everybody believes it once they see it.
Now, Pierre, I want to dive into that just a little bit more. As we mentioned, Jay Pharoah just said, he was answering a question saying they definitely, there are funny black women out there. They just have to look for them. As a whole in Hollywood, how much do you think it affects artists or comedians or anybody in the field, when they speak up about certain issues like this?
Well, it also is how they twist the words. We're in a sensational business. We're trying to catch you with headlines. You can say damn near anything, and they're going to try to find out how can I twist it to get more eyes to listen to it. Oh, hold on, what did he say? And as we all know, sometimes you read into something, say, hold on, he didn't say it like that. He didn't mean it like that. The headline says that, and the headline sells, and the headline can determine how someone feels about about an event or some situation. We're in that all the time. Let's be honest. Even Comedy Hype News, we do it. I do it in my podcast. We're gonna throw a headline out to make you grab into it. It's what it is. So, like Vanessa said, you gotta be careful what you say. And it is a lot. I mean, this is a probably $1 billion business, Saturday Night Live. They don't want it to get messed around, and they're not gonna let some little black boy put any negative slant to something that they're doing. Well, anybody really, but especially somebody that's only a small minority of what they have on their show. You know what I'm saying? So I expect it. Just watch what you say if you're willing. If you're not willing to go the long mile and risk maybe getting fired. Tiptoe through the tulips, as they would say on my white side.
Capone, let me come back to you and get your thoughts on that. In Hollywood as a whole, how much do you think it affects different artists, when they do decide to speak up about issues like this?
Well, it's been proven over and over again. Hollywood is a white game, and you have to play the game if you want to be. You have to play the game by their rules if you want to be in this game. I don't agree with everything that they say, but I know what the game is about. And, I don't know how to tiptoe through the tulips. So, I'm just going to try to keep my head above water the best way I can, because, it's a game, and the game changes all the time by their rules. And sometimes I don't agree with their rules.
Now, Vanessa, I don't know if you know how to tiptoe through the tulips, but I do want to get your thoughts on this as a whole. When we're looking at Hollywood, how much do you think, a talent or an artist's career can be affected when they speak up about issues like this?
Yes, if you're not saying it in a way, or if it's twisted in a way, however you want to put it, that it makes the company look, or, like they're not on the ball or whatever, and you're a part of that, yes, it can definitely affect the way that things go for you. You know what I mean? If they think you're speaking bad on the, institution or what have you. On the other side of that, when people do speak up, I do think that it does bring about some change. But again, I think Pierre just said it's kind of the way that you choose to do it sometimes too, and you have to be really careful with that. Since he was there, if that was something that he felt, even when the article had come out, I believe it was by Carrie Cadet, I believe. I'm sorry, Carrie, if I'm not saying that right, but she had wrote an article which stirred up all the kind of, where are the black women, on SNL type of thing. And even at that time, maybe if you went, into corporate yourself and said, hey, that is something, blah, blah, blah. And then, I guess, like I said, speaking in the media, even just in passing, you know what I mean? It's nothing wrong with what he said, you know what I mean? But it was said in a way, you know what I mean, that that it could be interpreted, in a different kind of way. Like they not looking for him. That's the whole thing. They're not even looking for him because they definitely out there. They just gotta, look, and he was just saying in passing, no, there's definitely some phenomenal black women out there. Yeah, but you got to take the time to, well, I guess, yeah, it could sound any way you wanted to.
Yeah, and I think, well, not even, I think, they talked about it being a time where, it's not like now where a lot of platforms are now pushing for that, and we're starting to see that change. But that was before that happened. So, he was at a shaky time, but, now he could be considered a hero. But Capone, I want to come to you and ask about, looking at SNL, we used to see household names come out of SNL. Why do you think we've seen that shift over the past few years where we haven't seen as many household names come from SNL?
Because Eddie Murphy broke the meter. And when he broke the meter and became the superstar that he became, SNL didn't have a part of his, he came from there. Yeah, that was a stepping stone for him to take off, but they didn't get nothing back from his success. And if I remember, there was an article written that they will never let another Eddie Murphy merge from their thing without them partaking into the finances of that individual.
Yeah, I had no idea. So thank you for that insight. Pierre, I want to get your thoughts and reaction to that as well. Why do you think we haven't seen as many household names, come out of SNL?
Well, one is SNL been around almost 40, 50 years. Everything gets old after a while. You just can't keep reinventing the same wheel And also, a lot of comics nowadays have other places to go. You know, they can do their own thing, i.e., some of the Instagram's first people who would have, you know, maybe a Country Wayne would have been pulled onto it. Maybe a DC Young Fly would have been pulled onto it years ago if it wasn't for social media. Now, so many young comics have other places to go to. They don't need SNL no more. They don't need that structure saying, you know, you can do this, you can't do this, we ain't gonna use a skit. They can do all the skits they want on their own shows. So it's not the, you know, it's the old institution, you know, and people are younger and fresher, and that's not somewhere they want to run to. I implore anybody, especially of color, to make their own thing. You know, we don't have to run over there. Like Comedy Hype owns, you know, the black owned. It's the own thing they do, you know. So I believe in, we don't have to go over there and say, hey, man, can you please put us up to show you my talent? We're like, damn that. I make my own stuff. I put my own, you know, social media thing up, build our own stuff. I hope we even work together. Like Capone would always say, work together as us comedians and make our own thing, make our own little shows and so forth. So Saturday Night Live, you know, is not the place it used to be. They trying to yell and hold on to it, rah, 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 we still around. Okay, nobody watch that no more. You know, nobody, no minorities really watch it. So us coming on that show, I don't give, you know, do we really watch it anymore? The minorities really watch that show no more.
Right. Yeah. No, I think a lot of people definitely agree with that. Vanessa, I want to get your thoughts on that as well. You know, looking at SNL and its career over its time, why do you think we've seen less and less of household names come out of SNL?
I think some of the things that the brothers had to say are definitely fit. The talent that you named, and Eddie Murphy or even Will Ferrell, they're very unique, and you know, they're just, you know, explosive, and it was easy to see kind of how to place them and so forth or whatever, and their movies took off and all that. And so I think that, you know, applause goes to them for being the kind of unique and creative talents that they are. The ones that are coming behind them, they'll have their own path and own journey and own forms of success, you know. But to that skyrocketing thing, it's so beautiful because it doesn't happen all the time, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I guess my answer would be it's a credit to the talents that that we were speaking on. Not to say that, you know, the ones coming up don't have that, you know, that little something something. But the talents that you spoke of, I mean, I love like almost every movie they've ever done, even all the skits that they have that, you know, that were in SNL, that type of stuff. So, you know, I just think it takes time sometimes, and you don't have that many if we're talking about Black people, or you meant in general. Either way, especially if you're talking about Black people or whatever, there's not that many on the show anyway. So, you know, the averages of getting another Tracy Morgan or another Eddie Murphy, you know, are low. And because of what Pierre said as well, there's other places to launch your career.
Right. Now, before we close out, Capone, I had a question that did come to mind that I want to ask you, because I know, you know, you're definitely one of our, you know, most vocal people, which we love. You stand up for us, and I think it's definitely appreciated. For you, you know, in your time, have you personally seen, you know, a shift when you do decide to speak out, whether it's against something or for something, you know, where there may be a shift for you personally?
Yeah, of course. You know, I'm kind of dealing with that now, where when you put up your own money for institutions and a comedian has their relationship with the institution, they kind of always talk up to push you on the side. You know, if I put my money up and I want to do my own thing, and the comedian who has a relationship with them sees that my tickets are selling more, they kind of, you know, put up to where I'm in this with y'all gonna have to stop promoting him for a while until we take off. So yeah, it can be effective in a whole lot of ways when you trying to do your own thing, you know. But my message to anybody that believes in themselves is don't ever give up, regardless of what obstacle you might face. Don't ever give up. Always believe in yourself, because regardless of whatever your situation is, it doesn't take anybody to tell you that you're talented. And that's what we've been living off for so many years. When white people come to your show, you start to feel successful. That's crazy.
Well, I definitely think that's a perfect way to end the show today. Thank you so much for giving that advice, because I think sometimes, you know, people do get discouraged, or when they're in situations, you know, just kind of telling them to keep going. So I appreciate you for doing that. Now, before we go out, you know, I love to know what y'all have going on. Miss Vanessa Fraction, I'll start with you. Let everybody know how they can follow you and what you have coming up.
Vanessa Fraction. My website's vanessafraction.com. But follow me online, follow me on my YouTube, Vanessa Fraction, all those wonderful things. June 18th, I'll be in Valdosta, Georgia, with Black Tony. So look on my page for that information. July 1st and 2nd, I'll be at the Funny Bone in Hartford, Connecticut. So get your tickets for that as well. And you can listen to me on the Nappy Boy Radio podcast as well. And you can watch us on YouTube or just listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Pierre, I'll come to you. What do you have coming up and how can people follow you?
Tomorrow night, I'll be in the Bronx at Salsa con Fuego with me and Teddy Carpenter. This Tuesday, it's tomorrow night. Let's see, Friday, I'm doing a backyard barbecue. Hey, don't laugh. I'm getting paid good money for that. And Saturday night, I'm at Constitution Hall in DC with Teddy Carpenter, the Backyard Band, Tony Woods, Mike Brooks, a whole bunch of people. And I want to give a thank you to all the folks who showed up to my taping of my special, my micro special. It was packed out, both shows, man. Thank y'all so much. We did a great job. I think y'all can see a little different, view of me. I stayed up there and talked about racism for 20, 30 minutes and how I feel about it. And I think folks loved it. And, I'm looking forward for it coming out on Hype Plus streaming network for here, Comedy Hype.
Absolutely. And last and certainly not least, Mr. Capone with the word. What do you have coming up and how can people follow you?
This weekend, I'm going to be at Chuckles doing 6 shows with a couple of my Team Capone people. The next weekend, I will be in Houston. And then the next weekend, I'll be in Levity Live with the New York Kings. That's how I'll end my month going into the 4th of July. And then we start a new calendar. They can follow me on Instagram, Comedian Capone, or go to my website, comediancapone.com.
Absolutely. As always, I appreciate y'all for calling and chiming in on this topic. But you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Jay Pharoah's reveal on how he left SNL? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Put it in those comments. I'm going to read this time. I'm going to read. I got time to read.
Put it in the comments. There we go.
What's up? I'm Terrence Sims. For years, you come to us to get the latest news in comedy and for your favorite comedians. Now, you can come to us for even more news in the world of sports, music, and pop culture. We're bringing you some of our classic shows you love, like Unforgotten, the Comedy Hype News Show, and more one-on-one interviews. We're more than just laughs, we're the culture, the leader in truth. And well, your streamer got a little more blacker. Welcome to Hype Plus.